Deja, thank you very much. Many of us found time in 2020 thanks to extended stay-at-home orders, quarantines, to complete projects that maybe we wouldn't have been able to do.
Yeah.
It's one of the rare bright spots of the ongoing pandemic.
One young man, thanks to encouragement from his friends, turned an idea for just a short film into a nearly hour-long Western. Take a look.
Let me ask you one question. Why'd you shoot him in the leg? Why didn't you just kill him?
I missed.
The Man Who Missed is a Western written and directed by George LaHood, a 17-year-old Blue Valley student.
I love Westerns. They're one of my favorite genres. I basically had a movie in my head. I just needed to make it.
Making it involved long hours over the summer, with Missouri Town 1855 in Lee Summit serving as a backdrop for several scenes. But it was originally going to be a much shorter production.
It's just kind of like a short little 2-scene, 6-page script, and one of my friends was like, hey, why don't you make this longer?
With plenty of time on his hands thanks to the pandemic, he wrote more, and his friends were all in.
If you can picture a group of high school 17-year-old friends trying to make a movie, that's pretty much exactly what it was like.
Including David Westerhouse, who not only plays the title character, but also wrote the music.
The very last one is my favorite because that's the last piece of music I wrote for it. And I think it's the best one because that's when I actually kind of figured out what I was doing.
Now, we met with George at a movie theater for two reasons. The first is obvious. He made a movie. The second is awesome because his friends and fellow castmates surprised him with a screening of his movie right here.
And I turned around and all of 10 people I knew were standing there, and I was like, what the heck is happening? And they just started walking towards the theater.
For a presentation that gave George and the cast a whole new view of this formerly little film.
When you're just walking across the screen holding a gun and trying to look cool, it's not quite as bad to watch, but it was still kind of a big screen.
For probably a quarter of it, I was like this. Just because, it's hard to show things to people. That was one of the best nights of my life was seeing that with everyone.
2020 was a rough year for movies and movie theaters, but this young filmmaker believes he and his industry have a future.
The wanting for content and for stories is just at an all-time high. If anything, I'm really excited because there's just more demand for it.
Pretty great. George is already at work on several new projects, but he submitted The Man Who Missed to the University of Arizona, where he plans to attend next year at film school, and to a film festival, by the way. He should hear back from them in the next month or so, he thinks.
Oh, not the last we've heard from him,
No.
That's for sure. So tell us more about how George knew about the process of filmmaking. We saw the storyboard.
Right, yeah. So to be clear, this was not an assignment. This is just a passion project that he wanted to do and shot it. But he is now a filmmaking student in the Blue Valley School District Center for Advanced Professional Studies, or CAPS program. In that program, juniors and seniors in Blue Valley schools are able to fast forward in a specific area of study that they hope to pursue as adults, like filmmaking. I spoke to one of his instructors about this film and the entire process.
The thing that George has done is he found a story that felt meaningful to him. He pursued that passion, but then took it a step further by getting it screened in a local theater, by entering it into film festivals, by doing some of those extra things that people in the industry do on a regular basis, but a high school teenager might not normally think to do, right? There's this kind of fear I find in high schoolers to think, oh, what I'm doing isn't important enough or isn't good enough to be screened or to be shown to the wider public. And it absolutely is. And I think George is a great example of that.
Got to go for it. I love it.
So much fun hanging out with them and talking to them. We do have a link to the entire film on our website this morning. It's about 50 minutes long. They do warn you at the beginning, it's for mature audiences. There's some language, there's some violence. It's a Western, so be aware of that. But they did really great work, and excited to see what they've got next.
I love all they put into it. Looked
Yeah.
really, really sharp.
Yep.